This is the Zeeco Eco Operators Only Troubleshoot video. While performing these tests, make sure that the oil out is always to the off position. To begin troubleshooting, if your Zeeco Eco does not have any power, even while it's plugged into the AC outlet, to check if it's a working AC outlet, just simply unplug the Zeeco Eco, grab any battery charger or a phone charger, plug it into the outlet that you were using for the Zeeco Eco. Take your phone, plugging it in, and if it's charging, then that means it's a working AC outlet. If it is not charging, simply disconnect the phone charger, put it in a different AC outlet, same test. A working AC outlet. So then unplugging our phone charger, coming down to get our cord and plugging it into the working AC outlet. If you still don't have any power while the AC outlet is working, if the AC outlet is working, but you still do not have any power to these switches, come down. You will see the red button. That is your motor relay reset. Depress. It will reset the motor. Continue filtering as normal. If it's still not working and you hear a quick jam, that means that the pump is jammed, and I will now show you how to properly fix your pump. To begin taking apart the pump, we must first take off the back panel. To do that, unravel the cord. Gives you better access to the T25s. Here are the tools that we are going to be using for the pump. A wire brush, a flathead screwdriver, your T25 screwdriver, your 3/8 drive ratchet with a 7/16 adapter, and a hammer. To begin, take your T25, start at the top, loosening the T25 screws. So removing the final two screws, taking off the glove clip screw first. Down. Now taking off the last screw. That way you have good grip on it so it doesn't fall off. Removing the final screw. To remove the back panel, grab the handle, grab the bottom of the back panel, slowly lift up, and then place on the side. You will notice you have your motor and your pump. To remove the pump, take your 3/8 drive ratchet with your 7/16 and slowly unloosen the bolts to the pump. You just need to get them loosened so you can unscrew them with your hand. But if they are stuck on pretty good, you may need to use your ratchet more. So slowly unscrewing the bolts out of the pump cover. And putting those aside. I have a cutaway model of the pump, what it looks like, to show you what we did. So we basically took out the 3 7/16 bolts from the cover. And putting those to the side. Now I will show you how to get the pump cover off of the pump. Take a flathead screwdriver. You want to move the pump just a little bit to create a lip on the top so you can put your screwdriver, and then using your hammer, gently tap until the pump cover has been removed. while fixing your pump, if you have difficulty getting the pump cover off, contact your local Zeco Oil Support Service Center and they will help you correct the problem. You will notice that it slides out as long as with the O-ring still. Make sure that is always firmly attached to the pump cover. This creates the positive seal for filtering. You will notice the gear shaft sticking out. Simply remove that. Check for any wear or damage. This one's fairly new, so it won't have any rust or debris in it, but just making sure it's nice and clean. On the inside of the pump is the inner gear. Once again, checking the teeth and the V's to make sure that there's no large debris or rust, as well as rust on here. Take your small finger, check the bottom of the pump as well as the top, making sure that it's all clear of debris. I'll show you now on our cutaway model what we did. So we took off the pump cover, the O-ring still attached. So we had our inner gear as well as our outer gear, and that's what it looks like inside the pump. And by what I mean by small finger to check, simply just put it inside and check for any debris on the top and the bottom. If you noticed any debris on the gear shaft or the inner gear, take a brush, simply go inside, making sure you scrub really good on the inside, getting all the rust and the debris out of the teeth, thus creating a better suction for the pump. So once done with the inner gear, simply place it back inside the gear hub, and it goes all the way to the back. Take your gear shaft after checking it and place that inside. Now, if you did need to wash any of the gears, make sure that they are completely air dried, because if any water gets on the gears, they will rust and you will have to call your Zeco Support Services to fix it. Lastly, taking your gear hub, you will find that there's a crescent shape inside that this fits inside to. You might need to shimmy it a little bit to get it seated just right, and it just slides into place. I'll show you on our cutaway model what I just did. So taking the inner gear, placing it inside, taking the gear shaft with the long shaft pointed down or into the right of the machine, that just firmly sits in place. The crescent shape right here is what the gear shaft or the gear hub fits into. So after placing the gear hub back on, take your 7/16 bolts and gently screw them in. They don't have to be tight, they just need to be snugged, because later I will show you how to harmonically tune the pump so it doesn't create an over suction, thus creating a problem for the motor. Now, to harmonically tune the pump, what you need to do is first plug in your Zeco Eco, turn the oil out switch to on. You will hear the motor running as well as the pump. Take your ratchet and your 7/16 and slowly begin to tighten. You hear that sound? That means either one or many of the bolts are over tightened. So like I said, they don't need to be over tightened, they just need to be snugged, creating the positive seal for the suction of the pump. After checking the pump, If it does work, replace the back panel onto the machine. If it doesn't work, if your pump still doesn't work, put the back panel on and check the hoses. I will now show you how to check the hoses. So after checking your pump, you want to replace the back panel. To do that, underneath, these on top, make sure the little latches on the top handle lock in with the cutouts on the side of it, and it locks into place. So screw it back in, take your T25, start at the top. You might need to hold the handle up a little bit so it can firmly be screwed in. Same thing with the other side. So coming down to the last two screws to screw in on the back panel. Coming down to your last screw, make sure the T25 is inside the glove clip. To screw it in, hold the glove clip and slowly screw in your T25. I will now show you how to check the hoses to make sure that there is suction from the pump. After checking the pump and making sure it was free of debris and not jammed, but if you still notice that you have a weak oil flow, it might be that the hoses might be clogged. To check the hoses, take the towel, hold it directly underneath the yellow hose at tank level, release the quick action release coupler, sliding it off by placing your finger on the hose and making sure that the unit is plugged in into the AC outlet. Come up to your switches, which is the oil out on, and feel if you have a positive suction on the yellow hose. Turning the machine off by switching the oil out switch from on to off, you still notice that you didn't have positive suction from the yellow hose. Take it off the pump level, which is right here, and taking that off and putting that to the side. Now to check the suction on the pump, hold your thumb right on the valve right here. Take your oil out switch from off to on. And if you have positive suction on that, then that means it's a good suction. But just as a preventative measure, you can run hot water using your heat gloves. Run hot water through the top and the bottom, making sure that all the debris is free of the hose. To reconnect it after you've cleaned it out and making sure that it is air dried, because we don't want any water getting into the pump, just simply do your quick action release coupler, come down to the tank level, and making sure it's nice and snug. Do the same for the other side using the quick action release coupler. Coming down to the pump level and sliding that in and making sure it's clicked all the way. If you still, after checking the yellow hose, if you still did not have positive flow from the hose, you may check your blue hose. To check the blue hose, take the quick action release coupler off the wand, and while taking off the blue hose, put your thumb on it. But for this one, we're not switching out the oil out from off to on. We're holding the back flush button to make sure that we have positive suction from our blue hose. So while checking that, if you still did not have positive suction from the blue hose while it was being back flushed, you may come over to the faceplate and take off that blue coupler, and then holding your thumb on the valve, pressing the back flush button, seeing if you have positive suction coming off the pump. What you do. So, but if you still did not have positive suction, you can take your blue hose to your dishwasher, hold it underneath hot water with your heat gloves on, flushing out all the debris. After it is air dried, come and take the quick coupler to the wand and pushing it in, making sure it's locked and sealed. Doing the same for the faceplate. In, locking it into place. If you still did not notice any positive suction from the blue hose, it could be that your wand is clogged. To check the wand, release it from the tank, holding it up using your other hand like so, covering it. Come over to your back flush button and see if you have positive suction off the wand. If you do, use as normal. If you don't, release the coupler from the wand. Take the wand to your dishwasher so he can flush it out from either this side or the other side after it is flushed out of all debris and it is air dried and hand dried. Come and take the coupler back again, straight onto the wand, and put it directly back into the tank. And if you still have any problems with the Zico Eco machine other than what you've checked for, please be sure to call your Zico Oil Support Service Center so they may help you.